Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business on today's program. I've got Robert Jackson. He's a regular contributor on The Price of Business. He's with a great company called Sitters, Etc., and we're delighted to have him on the program. I consider his company very forward edge in what it's doing. It's dealing with one of the most pressing problems out there, helping the sandwich generation take care of their parents, in a much more manageable and sensible way. I think it's really cool. Makes a lot of sense, and I love your standards as well. Bob, welcome to the program.
Good to be back with you, and appreciate your kind words about Sitters, Etc.
Yep, and by the way, you can check them out at sittersetcetera.com. Tell us about your guest today.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to have someone that I've worked with over the last 5 or 6 years, Thom Crimans. He's just up the road from us in Louisville, Kentucky, which just had a small horse race here last weekend. But in any event, Thom and I have known each other for a while, and the reason I want him to be your guest today, Kevin, and for your listeners, he's a 24-year veteran, senior franchise consultant. He's placed numerous candidates in the home care concepts. He can talk a lot about the process and why he believes it's also such a strong industry segment. So without further ado, I'll bring in Thom.
Yeah, very good. Glad to have you on the program, Thom. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about FranNet.
Well, nice to be here, Kevin. Nice to meet you, and Bob, thanks for inviting me. As Bob said, I've been a franchise consultant for 20-plus years. And our work is to match folks that want to be in business with franchise opportunities. And that's what FranNet does. In fact, we're a franchise. We operate pretty much throughout North America and have branched out recently to Germany and the United Kingdom. So we get to spend a lot of time with franchise companies, and we also get to spend a lot of time with folks that are considering going into business for themselves through the vehicle of franchising. So we get to see some of the commonalities of what works and some of the mistakes that folks make along the way.
Yeah, very good. Bob?
Thom, I know you've worked with a number of different senior care concepts, and of course you came down and met our founder, Bo Brothers, last year, and tell us what you think separates, in your mind, that the good non-medical franchise systems from the ones that are second tier. What makes us a first tier, and what concepts do you feel give the right kind of support to candidates starting out?
Well, one reason that we were attracted to your concept is that we know there are lots of people getting into this business. Yeah, it's some of the franchises we work with in some other industries. Yeah, it's a little, people struggle sometimes to get their head around the concept, but it's pretty obvious for anybody that's been paying attention that with the aging population and the strong desire for people to remain in their homes, that there's a huge market and a growing market for folks that can provide in-home care. But in the long run, it's going to be the quality of care and the quality of people that you can bring to the table that I think is going to be a big difference, and that's one of the attractive features about Sitters is the kind of information that you provide to the senior and to their families, and of course back to the franchisees so they can manage their business, and the training and support programs that you all have put together.
Yeah, the reality is that it's pretty wild range in terms of quality of support that are available to franchises. That's one of the things that impressed me about Sitters as well, is that it seems pretty seamless to me. Whereas a lot of the franchises, generally franchises are awesome. I think they're a phenomenal business model and make a lot of sense. But there could be some pretty large disparity in terms of what they offer in that seamless department. And guys women and men who have backgrounds that are in specific vocations, they need as much seamlessness as possible, don't they?
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
And I think Sitters, I like that about Sitters as well. And there is disparity among the franchises when it comes to that, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And, one thing that I was very impressed with the first time I made the visit is that these days franchising has become a popular vehicle for a company to expand their brand. But unfortunately, some companies are just barely established in their industry, and then they're out selling franchises while they're still learning the core business. But Sitters has been around for, 12, 13 years, Bob? They operate in several cities, so they already were operating like a franchise even before they were, and that's one of the places that we see things break down in systems sometimes, is they just don't know what it takes to support people.
Yeah, absolutely, and I admire that as well. So, what percentage of your business is only connecting people with new franchises versus pre-existing franchises that someone already owns? Kind of give me that landscape.
It's really pretty much about 95% opening up a new unit of a franchise. Now, it may be a well-established brand, but it's usually doing a new unit of that business.
Yeah.
But we do work with our franchise partners as well to help them sell existing franchises, and it's really a growing part of our business, actually.
Bob, your next question.
Hey, Tom, when you're mentoring a new candidate, regardless of what the franchise concept is, what kind of timeline do you tell them to expect from the time they start looking at brands to validating with brands, going to discovery day, which of course where they come in and meet the founder and see our facilities? How do you timeline that for your candidates?
I tell them they should expect it to take probably 45 to not more than 90, at the most 120 days. And it's a surprise sometimes. People haven't really considered it before. They think, well, it's going to take me a year or two to investigate things, but you can do a very thorough job, and it's work. You've got to have some time to devote to it, but you can look at a variety of concepts and zero in and complete your research on one to where you're really making an informed decision. You can do that in 60 to 90 days if you put your mind to it and devote some time to it.
Yeah, it sounds like it makes a lot of sense. By the way, I want to give Tom's number real quick, 502-384-0207, 502-384-0207. He's at FranNet, frannet.com. Bob, want you to wrap it up with about 30 seconds left.
Okay, well, Tom, why don't you just tell us a little bit about FranNet, the organization, and how long it's been around. I think it's got a total of like 90 different consultants.
Yeah, we've been around for about 25 years. The founder of our company created the industry. Of course, everybody thinks they're the best, but we think we provide the best quality service, and we really work for the would-be franchise buyer. They're really our customer, even though our service to them is free.
Tom, thanks so much for being with us. Thom Crimans, he's with FranNet, and, of course, Bob Jackson. He's with Sitters, etc. That's sittersetcetera.com. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdatareview.com, and you're listening to The Price of Business.